let's talk about one of the cardinal rules that I'm going to bet some of you are actually breaking. Hey, badass business owners, my name is Tammy, and I am here to help you grow your business, but more importantly, grow those profits. And what I thought we would talk about today is something that I see all of the time, and it is definitely one of the cardinal rules of owning your own business. And people are breaking it all of the time. And the problem is when you break it and you're not following this cardinal rule, you're actually creating a problem for yourself when it comes to your profits. And you're probably going, Tammy, what is it? Well, it's how you're treating your business, especially when it comes to your books, meaning your QuickBooks or whatever method you're using, if you have any of the other ones. And it's something that you're using, and it's actually making it more difficult, if you will, harder for you to be able to understand the flow of money in your business. But let's kind of step back for a minute and let's talk about what you should be doing and what I see people doing all the time. And it doesn't matter if you're just starting your business, or I've seen people that have been in business for many years making the same mistake, and it's actually hurting you. So let's take a look at your business for a minute. You are your business, absolutely, okay? But you need to treat your business as its own little entity, okay? Its own little thing, especially if you've created an LLC. But honestly, even if you just have a doing business as or a solopreneur, you need to be doing the exact same thing. The first thing you want to do is you want to treat your business as its own little person. So pretend it's a person, if you will. And that person has its own identity and its own checkbook, its own everything. And really what needs to happen is when you open your business, you should have a business checking account. And a lot of you will have a business checking account. And sometimes you'll have a business checking account, you'll have a business savings account, and you'll have a credit card if somebody gave you one. You might have more accounts. Personally, I think you should have an account that you just put your tax money into so you don't touch it, out of sight, out of mind kind of a thing. But you need to think of these individual things as their own accounts, but they're not your accounts. Your name's on them, but they belong to the business. And what we see happening a lot of times is you might put in money into the business, right? You probably put money in to start the business. Now, you may have funded it with $100, you may have put in $1,000, $5,000, you may have taken out a loan depending upon your business. But here's where the mistake happens is we have these cards in our pockets, right? And when we go to buy stuff, we do all kinds of different things. So you might go to Walmart, and while you're at Walmart and you're picking up stuff for the family, you go, oh, this would be really neat. I need this for the business. So you just happen to use your personal account when you buy this item for the business, or vice versa. You're buying stuff for the business and you see something at Walmart that you want, and you buy it out of the business, and it's being paid out of that account. Well, now you've created a problem, because when it comes to your books, the only thing that is business related needs to be tied to the business. And what happens is when you use that business credit card, but yet you've got some items that are personal, you have to back those back out, because what you're using is what's called owner's equity. You as the owner took some money out of your business to pay for that personal item. And that's where it gets really difficult, because what happens is when you have your receipt just has the total on it, right? And now either you or your bookkeeper or whoever's doing your books has to be able to go in there and to be able to separate those out. And it gets kind of crazy the more you start adding on to these things. Also, if you have a credit card that's a business credit card, you want to make sure that the business is paying for the debt on the credit card. What you don't want to be doing is you don't want to be taking money out of the business checking account to your personal account and then turning around and paying the credit card. You want to have the business pay for that credit card, because it is the business's credit card, right? You want to make the business self-sufficient within it. Do you as the business owner have to always put money in it? Sometimes you do, in which case that comes into the business as a separate thing. So you would, for example, let's say you were going to, you don't have money in your business account and you have to pay this credit card, right? What you would need to do is say it deposit $100 from your personal account into your business account as owner's equity, as an owner's contribution to your business. And then the business would turn around and pay the credit card. And that's really the way it should be done. And I'm just using credit card because it's one I see all of the time, but you could be doing that for a lot of different things. So anytime that you don't have the money in your business account and you have to use your personal account, what you should be doing is just transferring the money over once again, using that as an owner's investment or contribution into the business, and then the business pays for that business item. And same thing is if you're in reverse, whenever you buy anything personally out of the business, you shouldn't be using the business card because the business shouldn't be buying your personal things. You should transfer that money as an owner's draw from the business, giving it to you. Then you move it over into your personal account so you can pay for whatever it is that you need because the money happens to be over there. Either way, you have to keep those separate. You have to think of the business as its own person. So it would be like you and a spouse, you and a significant other, maybe your brother, your parent, or whoever. You're kind of borrowing money from them. Say, hey, Mom, can you buy me this? I'm going to go ahead and reimburse you later. That's fine, but you can't do that in your business. You have to, it's better for your mother to say, here, I'm going to transfer you, Zelle you over $100, then you can go buy it yourself kind of a thing. So you really need to work on keeping them separate and keeping them whole all inside. I was doing someone's books and helping them with them last year, for example, and when we started cleaning up, it looked like they had all of these expenses. And as we started going through them, they're like, oh yeah, that's for this person, or that's for my kid, or that's for my husband, or that's for this. And by the time we got done, about 70% of the transactions had nothing to do with the business at all. You're just asking for trouble. Not to mention the fact that you've made your taxes extremely difficult, whether you do those taxes yourself or you turn your books over to somebody else. And it also is probably one of the biggest reasons why people hate doing their books and staying on top of them and doing them at all anyways. And I get it. That's why I started helping people do their books, just because it just started getting, it's so overwhelming. And so, you just feel overwhelmed by everything that's going in there. But a lot of times, like I said, when you dive into it, it's because of this mixing in of business and personal in ways that you really should not be doing it. And like I said, the best way to do it is think of it as its own little world, and everything for the business has to happen within that world. So if you have business checking, savings, and credit card, they have to be within their own accounts, because what happens in QuickBooks, or whichever one you use, I like QuickBooks because I think it's very easy for anybody to do. In QuickBooks, you're going to attach those three accounts to your QuickBooks, and they will have their own individual within your QuickBooks. They have their own little accounts in there, and you can move money within them. And then if you move money to your personal account, you can do that as well, but you just get rid of it as an owner's draw, or if you have to put money into it, as an owner's deposit. Because another thing that I see, for example, is somebody will take that $500 they just made, they'll pay whatever they need to pay on that, and then they pull all the money out, but then they find out, oh crap, I've got a new bill that I never saved any money. Then they have to go deposit money into it to pay the bill that they completely forgot about, which is a whole different problem that I'm sure we'll talk about in the future, because in that case, you should really not be pulling out all the money. You really should try to build up those retained earnings you always hear me talk about in the business, because those retained earnings are what should be taking care of those oopsies, I forgot about this type of stuff. So hopefully you kind of gotten some ideas today about what you should be doing with your accounts. Like I said, please keep them as their own. Make sure that you are not, overlapping them. It's called commingling. You're not commingling those funds. It's one of the worst ways that you're going to get audited by the IRS. The IRS wants to make sure that the business is not paying for all of that personal stuff, and that you're being taxed on the money that you take out of the business. So you want to make sure that, if you go to Walmart, you pay for them separately. Okay. You do them as separate transactions, one on your personal and one on your business. I know it's a pain in the butt, and sometimes it's easier just to throw that candy bar on there or whatever it is that you want to get for you personally. But you really want to make sure that you separate those. Same thing. If you've got to pay, rob Peter to pay Paul, if you will, keep it within the business as much as possible. That's why it's critical that you have retained earnings in the business, so you don't do a lot of that stuff. And please, when you are buying things for your family, do not use the business account. Please do not use the business account for you personally, for your family, for your friends, or for anything else, okay? That is the business's money. Yes, if you want it, then you've got to pull it out as an owner's draw, and then you can do whatever you want with it and give it to whoever you want to give. But it's not for the business. You have to treat the business as if it's its own person, its own entity, its own little group, if you will, and that money must be sacred, that it's the business's money and it only pays for business stuff. So hopefully that helps make sense with some of this. And if you ever want to hop on a call and understand your QuickBooks a little bit better, or to understand your business numbers, don't forget, I do some coaching. Head over to babbolearning.com. Make sure you check out the course that I've got. And I'm going to be doing some more courses actually to help you guys out with QuickBooks in the coming future. Not right away, but I will be doing that. By the time some of you in the future watch this video, it might be there. But my main goal is, how do I help you guys understand your business numbers? Because I want you to be as profitable as possible. I got to get out of here. I will see you next time. Talk to you later. Bye for now.